right, we haven't done a lot of work with circles this year. It's a topic we'll kind of try to cram in the last week or so of the school year. But anyway, I wanted to take a look here. A pretty important idea. It's how to find the area of a sector of a circle, okay? If you've never heard the word sector before, it's a very simple concept. A sector of a circle is basically a basically kind of a pie piece type slice of a circle, okay? Basically, you're going to the center of the circle and you're drawing radii out in either direction, and you get this kind of pie-shaped piece here, okay? The angle measure is basically measured on what angle you rotate through. So this would be a 90-degree sector of the circle, okay? Some of these problems are super simple and super straightforward. Some of these are not so easy, okay? So let me show you this one. The first thing is you want to find the area of the circle, and I would leave it in terms of pi. Okay, so remember, very famous formula, area of a circle is equal to pi times the radius squared, okay? So that'd be pi times 4 squared in this case. That's 16 times pi. We usually put the 16 out front, leave the pi in the back. So we could say that the area of the whole circle is 16 pi square units. Okay, pi is a little bit more than 3, so it's got a little bit more than 48 square units in the whole thing, okay? However, this is a 90-degree sector, okay? It's only a fourth of the circle, okay? So I'm guessing most of you will know for a half circle, you take half. For a 90-degree sector, it's a fourth of a circle. So we're gonna take this 16 pi square units, we're gonna divide it by 4, and the area of the sector would be 4 pi square units, okay? It's gonna be just a little bit more than 12 square units. And so we could say that the 90-degree sector has an area of about 4 pi, all right? Now, this can be a little bit more challenging depending on the angle measure they give you. Okay, so I want to show you another way to do this. I'm going to show you first of all with this pretty simple example, but then we'll go from there. You're always going to start the same way. Always going to find the area of the circle. Okay, so we're starting out with the area of the circle. The area of the circle is 16 pi. What we're really trying to do here is find a fractional part of the area. Okay, and when you find a fraction, you're usually making a comparison between a part and a whole. Okay, now most of you just knew off the top of your head that a 90-degree portion of a circle would be a quarter of that circle. Okay, but really what you're doing here is you're saying, I have a 90-degree part out of a whole of 360 degrees, and you simplify that down, and you end up getting 1/4. Okay, I want to take that fractional part of the total area. Okay, probably somewhere in middle school, maybe 6th, 7th grade, you probably learn that when you take a fractional part of something, you are multiplying by that fraction. I'm taking 16 pi, I'm taking 1/4 of 16 pi. Very often means multiply, okay? And of course that's 16 pi over 1, you get 16 pi over 4, which ends up giving you 4 pi as your final answer, okay? So you can take the fractional part times the area, and you'll get the area of the sector, okay? Very straightforward. Now again, books will give you formulas and things, but I hope this is really pretty common sense, okay? Let's try another example. Okay, so let's say that I have a circle with a radius of 12, and I have a 60-degree sector, and I want to find the area of that, okay? So 12 squared is 144 times pi, 144 pi. Okay, I want to figure out what fractional part of the circle this is. Well, it's 60 degrees out of a total of 360 degrees. That is 1/6 of the circle. So I want to take 1/6 of 144 pi, okay? So multiply 144 by 6, you're going to get 144 pi over 6, and I believe, if I remember correctly, I believe that is equal to 24 pi square units would be the final answer. Okay, 1/6 of the circle, 60 degrees. All right, let's try another one. All right, let's say that I had a circle that had a radius of 8, okay? And let's say that I had a 135 degree angle. Okay, that one's a little bit less known by people. So same kind of thing as before. Find the area of the original circle. 8 squared is 64, times pi is 64 pi, okay? 135 is your part out of a whole of 360, okay? If you keep dividing that down, and you might have to try it a couple of times, you'll find out that this simplifies down to be 3/8, okay? So I want to find the area of 3/8 of the circle. I want to take 3/8 of 64 pi. 3/8 times 64 pi. And by the way, if you're crafty about this, yeah, you can multiply 3 times 64 and you can get that answer and you can divide by 8. Remember that you can also divide an 8 into 64 at the start. It doesn't matter if you multiply or divide first. 8 goes into 64 8 times. 3 times 8 is 24 pi square units. And that's your final answer. Okay, 3/8 of an area of 64 pi would be 24 pi. By the way, you can turn this into a decimal. You can take 0.375, 3 divided by 8, and you can multiply by 64 pi, and you'll also get the same 24 back if you take 0.375 times 64. All right? Now, you can get some really ugly answers here, but the process is always the same. Okay? So like, for example, if the radius was 5, and let's say I had a 100-degree angle here, and I wanted to find the area of that sector. Okay? Same kind of thing. Area of the circle, 5 squared is 25. It'd be 25 pi. I'm taking a fractional part of 25 pi. My part is 100. My whole is 360. Okay, we can divide that by 10, get it down to 10 over 36. Divide both of those by 2, we get it down to 5/18. Okay, not a very catchy fraction. I want to take 5/18 of 25 pi. Okay, put it over 1. 5 times 25 is 125 pi. 18 times 1 is 18. I don't think anything goes into 125 and 18. Okay, so at that point, you're just done. You can say it's 125/18 pi, or you could say it's 125 pi over 18 is probably how they'd write it in the back of the book. Horribly ugly answer. Obviously, if you needed to put that in a calculator and get a decimal approximation, you could. But in most cases, I just want you to leave this in pi form. If you're going to leave it in pi form, you might as well leave it as a fraction, okay? Don't give me a mixed number. People don't use mixed numbers with areas of circles very often. Leave it as an improper fraction. Just divide out any greatest common factor if there is one. All right? So hopefully that helps a little bit. Not terribly difficult, but maybe a little bit tougher in some examples like this. That helped?